like a roller coaster, if I could pick a word. It goes up and down and fun and crazy and mayhem and joy and sadness. It's just all over the place.
Welcome back to Housewives Nightcap. We are welcoming a fairly new housewife. She's entering her second season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you. How are you guys?
We're so excited that Beverly Hills is coming back because it's just, last season you guys delivered. So can't wait to see what you guys are bringing this season. So tell us, what can we expect? Because per the trailer, it's going to be drama filled once again.
Yeah. I do know that sometimes the audience doesn't like one storyline or like one argument. I will say that it jumps to everyone at some point. Everyone gets in it. It keeps moving. At a time where I'm ready to speak up. Someone else is fighting here. I was like, oh my God, like I can't even keep track.
So it's not just about Erika Jayne this time around. Okay. How was filming? Like Emily said, this is your second season as a housewife. I remember we talked last season. You said it was kind of hard. It was a difficult transition. How was it this time around?
It's still hard for me. I don't know if it's easy for anyone. Maybe it is. I don't know, but it's harder for me because I'm just like, I don't know, still not used to it, but it's a lot better than last year. It was easier.
Well, you know what to expect, right? It's like a little more of like, okay, I know kind of what is coming for me.
Yeah, where last year I was so focused on how it worked that it was hard for me to sort of get deep with friendships because I was so focused on the sort of logistics of it all. And now that I know, it's like I was able to dive deeper into those friendships.
Right. Absolutely. So the trailer looks bananas, but so good. Like a lot of Kathy, she was such a fan favorite. How do we see a different side of Kathy this season?
Well, it's interesting because I've known Kathy a long time. So right. I know all sides of her. And I think last year they really just showed the sort of funny part of her, which I think was important because I think before Kathy's so elusive, right? She's like the mother of these, very famous women. And it's like, how did she get these kids to this place? And, so fancy and whatever, but actually she's just like a real person too, who's fun and great and with flaws as well. But actually lives in normal. She doesn't just I guess people thought this, like, she's not just at home, like walking around with like diamond encrusted glassware. I don't know. Maybe she does. I don't think she does. But I just think it's, now you get to see a different side, and I'm hoping that they get to see my other side, we all have many sides. And I think last year I had a more, sort of, I don't know the word severe, but colder and quiet, but it was because I was quiet, and I really work hard at being myself and relaxed and fun and open. And so I hope people get to see that part too.
Well, it was also last season. That was a hard season for you to join.
It was insane. It was like what we saw last season was like nothing we ever saw before, because there are a lot of people that aren't into housewife culture, don't really pay attention. And they were like paying attention for the first time because of Erika,
Right. Well, that's interesting because, I hear that after watching it and the season's over, but when it's your own first time, you think that that's just how it is.
Right.
And so I'm just reacting, but maybe I would have been different had I been on 3 years ago, or last year didn't happen. So I can only act authentic to what the environment is at the time. And at the time it was intense. And I remember thinking God, these girls do this every year like this is bananas. But I think looking back on it, I do realize that I got thrown into a very challenging season because it really was sort of unfolding in real time on us. And then it was like, give your opinion. Crystal doesn't talk a lot. I'm like, I met the woman I don't even know her last name. I met her 3 weeks ago. Am I going to have an opinion about her divorce and her husband? I don't even met her husband. What are you talking, And it's like, Crystal, like so quiet. I'm like, well, yeah, because if you're in a room with someone going through this, you're not going to be like, hey, let's talk, I mean, at least not me. So yeah, it was tougher. But now this year I feel more at ease to not only ask questions, but share my opinion about it.
Because you do share your opinion. In the trailer, we see that you and Erika, you say something about that you're siding with the victims, and Erika goes, what did she say? Something?
She said, you just think that that's the cool thing to do. Which I don't know why I think that's so funny, but it is.
And it's somebody, I don't even remember, because in the moment I'm like seizing up. I'm so stressed because like we're fighting. But like when I watched it back, I was like, what did she say? And then I said, I don't think it's like, my reaction is how I reacted today. Like, I don't think it's cool. I don't know if that's like the word to use about supporting victims of this crime, but I guess it is cool because I think it's cool. So we'll just leave it at that.
You did. So we see that in the trailer, but then you also said that you and Erika actually got along pretty well and she was really helpful to you this season. So where do you guys stand and how did you come to a place of agreeing after that kind of little blowout there?
That blowout was like towards the end. So I feel like that's like, I don't know if I let's say that. Cut it out if I was. But yeah, she was helpful. And I think that's probably why her reaction was so much bigger.
Okay. No, that helps. That helps that you're adding some context because I feel like people are like, wait, because in the trailer, we always think all of that's going to happen in the first episode. Right. You know what I mean? We're like all waiting. And then of course, Bravo does their best, what they're best at and keeps us watching,
Yeah. I mean, it's a really tough topic. It's not a tough topic to have a very strong opinion about. It's a tough topic to talk about, right? And I think that's what it is. Like, whereas last year I knew how I felt. Well, actually last year I actually did not have a strong opinion yet because I was developing it. I was just getting to know everybody. And then I didn't feel comfortable sharing. So I like to wait until I'm pretty solid in how I feel. Like I'm not someone that just spews out whatever. And until I feel grounded in my thoughts, I'll then share them. And in this situation, that's where I stand. And it's easier to go to bed at night if I'm like talking out of, whatever, that's not who I am. I need to go to bed feeling good about myself, authentic, and I'm going to share how I feel.
Yeah, so we just talked to Sutton a couple days ago, and she said that, from the get-go, Sutton was like, I do not believe Erika. And she was very firm on that. Do you kind of have similar feelings as Sutton does? Because I do think you told us last year that you quit believing in her at some point.
No, I don't know if I don't believe her. I think that, she and I talked about it. Like, the stories are wacky. I think I've said that before. It's so hard because it's like impossible to know. I don't know what's in her head. None of us do. All I can do is share how I feel, and someone's reaction and someone's response to me is how I'm going to formulate how I feel about someone. I'm not going to make a blind decision whether you're honest or not. But as in a real friendship, you have to develop that. It has to, and you have to show me in other ways as well. Not just what I'm asking you, but how you approach things, how you talk to other people.
Right.
And so for me, it's like a holistic sort of concept of how I'm going to feel about someone. But Sutton got to know her a whole year prior.
Right.
So if she felt that way, that was based on her feelings about her in the past. I had met her while it was happening. So it was it was really challenging for me to like figure out. I always lead with compassion. And the thing that really, drew me there was her talking about him possibly having Alzheimer's, which is what my father went through. And I can tell you, there's a lot of crazy things that happened that my dad would say or do when he was, in his sickness. And so I just kept thinking like, well, you know, and everyone's sickness is not linear. So I was like, well, maybe that could have happened, you know, like why would someone not tell the truth about that? So that was really where I was coming from.
Last season we saw you know, it was kind of like you, Sutton, Garcelle got along pretty well. Where are you and Garcelle right now?
We're good. We were all together last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw them all together last week and they were so cute posing together. But I did.
By the way, Lauren, you were there. I mean, like you can attest to like what's real.
Is she lying, Lauren?
No, she's not lying. They were chatting. There was no cameras around. They were authentic friends. But I did read somewhere that you and Garcelle actually had a little bit of a tiff this season.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I did Teddy's podcast. And she asked, and she was shocked. And I was like, I thought about it. Rob's like, oh, what about blah, 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 like your other stuff. And I think because I feel so close to Garcelle now that it probably resonates with me in a stronger way. Like it hurts me more, you know, like maybe it's not going to read bigger. I don't know yet. Like I'll see it when I see it. But for me, I think because, you know, that one really felt hard for me. So, but you know, you get through it. And that's actually, it's like the Sutton thing, you know, we really went through it a long time last year. And it was, leather bands. And it was, you know, I look back and it's like, we laugh about it, but at the time it felt so real and it felt so hard. But sometimes you need to go through those bumpy roads to get to real friendship. You know, if everything is like fine and happy and that can be very surface. And to really sort of dive into a friendship like that, sometimes you have to like go through harder times.
So everyone was talking about Erika throwing Garcelle's book out.
Yeah.
Since you sound like you're in a good place with both women, how did you kind of handle that situation?
Yeah. Well, luckily it wasn't on camera, so I didn't have to deal with that. I just saw it, you know, on my phone. I was like, oh my God, here we go. Like, I didn't know it was like getting that bad between them. You know, because I feel like when we're done, we're wrapped, it things to me settle. And then when I saw that, I was like, ooh. No, look, I mean, I think what's hard is like, I like to think, you know, we're all business women. We all work really hard. We put on a good show and it's real friendships. And I would like to think everyone supports each other in their businesses. And that's, you know, but there's real conflict between them. So I don't know. I would ever do that, but you know, I guess at the reunion, we're going to see what's going to happen.
I was going to say, we're going to save that for the reunion because it does seem that Garcelle and Erika aren't getting along this season, which they kind of weren't last season anyways, but you have to tell us what went down in Aspen for everyone to call it the trip from hell. Like, what happened?
I mean, like, what didn't happen? It felt so long. Like I look back on my because I had on my calendar, it's like what we did, you know, I like to kind of remember time. Like I'm like, oh, we've really packed a lot of hell in one weekend. It just was because, you know what it was, because everyone was involved in something.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't like focused on one person. It wasn't like one person was the target, one person was the aggressor. And I feel like that happens a lot. But in this case, it was like fighting here, then someone's fighting here. It just went on and on and on. It was, I mean, but it's weird because I had a really good time.
Okay. So did anyone leave? Did anyone leave the trip early?
No.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't as bad.
Hilton, I remember Kathy Hilton commenting.
Oh my God.
I saw that.
Come pick me up. This is horrible. Or something like
I know. I think she lost her phone or something. And I was like, I saw that. I'm like, Kathy.
Oh my God. That was so funny. So Crystal, what do you think of the newbies?
I love them both. They're awesome. They're very different. I've known Diana for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And I knew she would be an incredible addition because she just doesn't hold back. She feels how she feels and she doesn't allow space to change. And, I find that, a great quality in someone who's going to do this show and with these people. And Cherie is just like,
oh, I said her name wrong. Cherie.
Yeah, Cherie. She is just like, I've known Cherie and I never met before, but we have a lot of mutual friends, like close friends. And I had heard before, like, you're going to love her. You're going to love her. And I do. And she's just a great human, but I love them both. You could pick two more different people. But yeah, they really added an amazing dynamic. And I think you need that, and think, if everyone's like kind of in the same situation, it's nice to have other opinions. Right. And they both, are not afraid to give them.
How did the OGs of the group feel about the newbies? I feel like, Elisa, Renna, maybe sometimes they like don't like having new people come in.
Well, Renna and Diana have been friends for a long time too.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't just me that knew her. So me and Renna knew her both, and they go way back, and she loves Diana because Diana is, as you saw in the trailer, when she says whatever, like, you want a villain, here I am. I mean, that's going to pull on Lisa Rinna's heartstrings.
Lisa does love that stuff.
Yeah, where I'm like, oh my God. And, Rinna probably loved that.